Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're taking a look at the 2020 Chevrolet Silverado LT Trail Boss. Now this is part of the 4th generation of the Silverado, with production starting in 2018. Now this is the Trail Boss trim, which basically means it's got some more off-road capability than the lower level trims, as it's got 2 inches of extra ground clearance. It's got a rear locking diff. It's got improved shocks, and yeah, as you can see by the general look of the thing, it does have some kind of, menacing kind of off-road looking presence to it. But there's no doubt that this is a luxury vehicle in a lot of ways as well, as this has a lot more in the way of creature comforts than the lower level trim levels. There are only 2 other trim levels above this, in fact, and yeah, it's also got a 10-speed automatic gearbox as well, to make not only the most of its engine, but also to make it more efficient, and also a smoother car to drive in as well. So yeah, as you can see inside, this is a very luxurious car. Let me hopefully try and close the door. There we go. So as you can see, we've got some wood trim on the door, in the center console, and you can see you've got plenty of buttons. You've got an infotainment screen, which is actually slightly bigger than on the lower trim levels. It's an 8-inch screen, in fact. And yeah, you've got cup holders, you've got plenty of comfy seats that are heated, you've got a heated steering wheel as well, plenty of leather, and yeah, this kind of puts pay to the kind of notion that American pickup trucks are quite crude, quite work focused and the like, but yeah, these higher level ones certainly are not like that, and yeah, it's very much a luxurious car, which is, yeah, a bit surprising to me, because most of the time pickup trucks that I've come across have been, like I said, a bit crude, but still got some practicality on the go. As you can see, those seats look like they can lift up, so you can make the rear of the car a bit more of a bit more spacious. And yeah, but obviously the most spacious part of this car is the pickup bed, as you can see. Now, I'm not entirely sure why a lot of people do buy pickup trucks in America, because as research has shown, the vast majority of Americans that have a pickup truck only use the actual bed itself in any large capacity once a year at least. So yeah, not quite sure what the point of many people buying them is, to be honest. Maybe they just like the idea of having that kind of capability on the off occasion that they need it, which is kind of understandable, but I'd never buy a car on the off chance that I might need half of it, to be honest, because for day-to-day use, shopping or transporting people or anything like that, it's a bit of a waste of space as far as I'm concerned. But still, what is concerning though about this car is that it's not really trying to be modern in any kind of way, as it's got a great big 6.2 litre V8 engine, which produces 420 horsepower and 460 pounds-feet of torque, which is, yeah, not really in keeping with the times, although I do like the fact that the engine is pretty much in line with the front wheels. It's not hung over right out of the front, it's pretty much sat right near the driver, in fact, to be honest. So yeah, they've clearly tried to balance the car out a little bit, but it's still obviously quite a large car. It's really, really heavy at 5,100 pounds, and personally I'd like to see the Silverado EV in a game like this, or I would get that version of this Silverado if I had the choice, because yeah, that's more powerful, it's got more torque, it's quieter, and it would be a lot faster in a straight line as well. Whether or not it'd be any better for the corners or off-road, that's to be seen, to be believed, but regardless, yeah, this is an impressive looking thing. I do like the look of it, although I have been a big fan of the ZR2 Colorado. I really, really do like that pickup truck as far as pickup trucks go. I think that tried things a little bit differently in terms of having a V6 engine, in terms of being a lot lighter. It weighs more than 300 pounds less than this, and because it is as small as it is, it's a pretty good handling and braking car as well. But this is obviously more going for the off-road aspect, so yeah, let's see what it can do on the open road. Right, here we are at the drag strip, so let's see what we can do before we hit the speed camera, and then we'll go on a little bit of an off-road course, and then we'll get it round the track. So yeah, let's see what this car can do in 3 different ways. So let's see what it can do in terms of straight line speed. So as you can see, it's not a particularly high revving engine, comes across more like a 60s or 70s V8 in terms of being quite low revving. It doesn't even hit 6,000 RPM in terms of the rev line. But yeah, it's reasonably quick. You can see 112 miles an hour there, which is fairly decent for a car of this weight, especially when you consider it doesn't have the most amount of power. You know, a Ford F-150 Raptor, for instance, with its, you know, Ecotec or EcoBooster engine, does have more in the way of power. Also has more in the way of torque because it's got turbochargers, where obviously this is obviously naturally aspirated. But this is, for my money, a better looking car than anything that Ford have put out. I do think it's probably going to be just as capable, if not more so, off-road, especially in this Trail Boss version. And yeah, even though I would prefer the EV version, which isn't based on the same platform as this, by the way, shares the same name, looks somewhat similar, but it's not based on the same platform, just because the battery platform itself would not fit this, you know, combustion engine platform itself. So that EV version is actually based on the same platform as a Hummer pickup EV, which I have obviously also been impressed by. But like this Silverado, it doesn't have as much power as other pickup trucks does. Still, it's handling the off-road elements fine, and yeah, has no difficulty putting the power down in these kind of conditions. And yeah, is overall a reasonably fun pickup truck to drive. And even though it does obviously dwarf most cars from Europe, and certainly is a lot heavier than a lot of cars, I would say it handles its weight fairly well, and doesn't handle anywhere near as badly as you might expect for a car of this size. Certainly feels a bit more agile than it might well come across. So yeah, let's get to the track, see what we can do there, see if we're as good on the track as we are off-road. It's probably unlikely, given it does have the higher ground clearance, which is not really going to help the handling whatsoever. Obviously it helps in terms of going off-road, but it really doesn't help in terms of handling. But yeah, it's going to be seen to believe to see what it can do. So yeah, now this engine is actually a kind of eco kind of tech engine itself, so even though it is quite large, with the 10-speed auto and the way that the engine works, it's not anywhere near as environmentally bad as you might think it would be. And we're also top end of C class. And yeah, it's got a fair decent amount of weight up front at 59%, but given the way that the engine is actually placed, that could be a lot worse than it actually is. And yeah, they are the stats. So yeah, the braking, the launch, the acceleration and the speed are fairly good. The handling is obviously on the weaker side of things, and if you compare it to the ZR2 from the Colorado range, yeah, as you can see, the handling is better on this. Braking is slightly worse, probably because it is a slightly older car, and the off-road capability is worse as well, but yeah, the handling is slightly better. But this is quicker in a straight line just because it has more power, despite the extra weight. So yeah, as per usual, let's see what this car sounds like, and then we'll talk about it some more, and yeah, talk about the stats and what I think about how the car overall. So yeah, let's see what it sounds like. So yeah, it's a decent sounding engine, nothing remarkable though, but that's to be expected given this is going to be a mass-produced product. It's going to be used on a day-to-day basis, and not a lot of people are going to be wanting an engine that is really rather intrusive into the cabin. So yeah, I can see why it's also like low revving in that regard. Plus also with it being low revving combined with the 10-speed auto, it's going to be a very efficient engine for what the kind of size that it is. So yeah, and it also helps in terms of acceleration because it can now do because this car can do 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds, which is actually pretty good. 0 to 113.9 seconds, and go to a top speed of 148 miles an hour, which again is also pretty solid. So yeah, on the whole the performance is good. Handling wise, it's pretty much as you'd expect. It's not particularly great in the corners, but it's not dangerous either. And yeah, the understeer is so obvious that it's easy to get a control of. It's not like it jumps out at you and you're not prepared for it, because yeah, it pretty much understeers most of the time, so it's easy to gauge how much understeer is going to happen and how to correct it. So yeah, I'm all for this kind of vehicle being in this game. More pickup trucks like this is only a good thing. I'm pretty sure this is the first ever Silverado we've had in a Forza game as well, so it's nice to have another car make out on a game like this, because we've already had the Colorado for a while, which I think was one of the few Chevrolet pickup trucks we've ever had, if the only one. But obviously we've had the Chevrolet S10 or C10 or whatever it's called from the 70s, and now we've got this as well. So yeah, I'm glad it's in the game. It's a more ordinary kind of vehicle as opposed to all the hypercars and supercars that we usually get. So yeah, this is part of the American Automotive car pack, so it's one of 4 cars that you get in that car pack. We've already reviewed 2 of them in previous videos, so check out those videos if you haven't already. But yeah, I like this car. It's not remarkable or anything like that, but it is fun to drive. It does look good. I really am impressed by the looks of the thing, especially for a pickup truck. And yeah, the engine is a fairly decent power plant, and it's capable off-road as well. So yeah, it's covering plenty of avenues just in terms of this game, never mind in terms of real life as well. So yeah, I do recommend getting the car pack if you haven't got it already. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.